Introduction. We want these talks to be short but striking, no more than 10 or 15 minutes. Something must be done for the planet. In these next 2 years, we are gambling with the future of our planet. A collective effort is necessary, and to that end, we intend to disseminate the information contained in these talks to help change the bleak future that looms. The information will be of interest to those who have had a near-death experience, or to those who feel that what they see is not all there is and want to explore the authentic reality that surrounds us. Dear brothers and sisters, I am Ola. I am a guardian angel to a certain family. I perform multiple functions in many places and at all hours. First, I wanted to greet you. Welcome to the path that will liberate you. The process is long and the road difficult, but the reward is great. The world you live in is only a part of reality. The most important aspect of your life lies in the invisible realm. It determines your reality. The first objective is to understand that life is temporary. What is truly important happens elsewhere. First and foremost, for those brothers and sisters eager to learn, understand that death does not exist. There is no end. There is much more life after death. It would be interesting to explain the entire process of death, but that will be for later. However, I will offer a brief overview. Death begins when the physical body can no longer sustain the process necessary for a living body. The pain in the moments before death lasts only a very short time. Depending on each person's spiritual state, the process is different. If you are attached to the earth, the path is longer and more painful. If you wish to detach yourself from material attachment, the path is faster with much less suffering. And that is what we are going to talk about. Your human entity is composed of several energetic bodies. The physical body also possesses energy, and there are 6 other bodies, all of which are interconnected in order to communicate with the spiritual dimension from which it draws its substance. Broadly speaking, they are physical body, astral body, mental body, Buddhist body, karmic body, atavistic body, central energetic body, or soul. In the process of death, all these bodies above the soul gradually disappear and lose their connection with one another. First, the physical body. Next comes the astral body, which, as you know, is used to travel through the astral dimension and which the body entity uses to connect feelings with other bodies. Some time passes before the astral body also dissolves, and its energy returns to the universe. In each case, this usually takes 90 days. In other cases, 5 days. It depends on the individual. Subsequently, the mental body undergoes the same process of dissolution, but in this case it is slower, and the energy merges with the other bodies, making the dissolution process less profound. The Buddhic body is similar. It is the body closest to what you know as the soul, and it can be worked with through meditation. The other bodies are more difficult to manipulate through the Buddhic body, but we will explain that later. And finally, when the soul has been freed from the rest of the lower bodies, it can ascend to a heavenly level, and thus approach the light of the Father. It is a different process for each person, but with the same objective, to approach the Father and ultimately merge with Him. And that is all there is to death. The fear you feel as death approaches is illogical. You must approach it without fear. That is why some of your brothers and sisters, when they die, see relatives who approach to comfort them. This makes the process less traumatic and more direct. As a final piece of advice, I wanted to tell you that when one enters the first dimension beyond life in this physical dimension, that's when the typical soul journeys above the physical body. You must go toward the light. You must enter when you are guided to do so, and if you are alone, when you see it for the first time. If you don't enter at the first moment you see it, due to the obsession of recently deceased brothers and sisters, the process can be much longer, and the deceased may enter a state of anxiety, depression, and sadness. They can suffer attacks from the malevolent spirits that inhabit that dimension. They are very numerous, and that's what's desirable. Living quickly through the light avoids many problems, and it will be much faster if you forget all earthly possessions. All of that binds you to physical dimension, and it does not allow you to evolve. Regarding death, I've already touched on the basics I wanted as an introduction. Now I can begin to tell you the rest of the message. I wanted to talk to you about the structure of heaven and how it works, what the roles are, and how you can ascend from one level to another. As I mentioned before, the first level is the lower astral plane, the energetic space closest to the planet and in general to any physical world in the universe. It is usually filled with evil, dark energy, and very little light. Surviving this evil in this place is difficult. One must be very strong. To leave this lower astral dimension, one must simply go through the light at the moment of death. Once that threshold has been crossed, the next level appears. A new, brighter space is seen, where there is less evil. Most of the brothers, those already residing in that dimension, who see the newcomers, the recently deceased, are luminous beings, always willing to help and instruct them. The deceased see cities with ample open space between buildings, luminous beings, and very busy people. For example, the main buildings are Healing Building, Training Building, Learning Building, Father Control Building, Communication Building. Various buildings responsible for elemental supplies such as the energy used as food for the inhabitants, which is similar to solid energy like water, though a bit more solid. Building where a very lightweight fabric is manufactured for making clothes and protection from evil, and other buildings, more numerous, where people communicate with each other. People have to learn to communicate with each other. Now I can explain a little about what happens in each building. Buildings where deceased siblings reside. These are the most numerous. Healing occurs when the soul is healed from all the negative memories it has carried. The causes of that evil are also learned, so that it can be avoided in a future incarnation. There are few of these, but they are very large. There are 7 across the entire area, but they are very large. Next is the Father's Control Building, where lower-ranking spirits in the divine hierarchy receive instructions on how to properly govern this world. There are 2 centers, one in each zone. This entire world, or level of heaven, is divided into 2 main zones. Other important buildings are the learning buildings, where they recently deceased or those who have not yet passed away must learn. It is a new world, and they must learn to use the mental energy to manipulate the subtle matter that exists in this dimension. In this new world, everything is generated through thought and control and focus. Thought has energy, and this energy allows interaction in this dimension. People often spend a considerable amount of time here, depending on their spiritual level. In this building, attempts are sometimes made to communicate with living beings, although there is a better equipped building for this activity. The training building. The basic learning received in the learning building continues and deepens. Here, they undergo more comprehensive training in the skills they must learn to navigate this new world. This is the communications hub. Once the brothers have completed the course in the learning building, they reach the required level. They can enter the section and communicate with their loved ones on Earth. There are 2 in each zone. If needed, more will be created. The other buildings are irrelevant. These are supply centers so that the residents can live in this world and carry out their activities, such as the energy that serves as food and other utensils, such as vehicles that are used to move around, especially for the brothers who do not have the energy level to move around the place on their own. Now, what is necessary would be to show you what is necessary to be able to see all this for yourselves and see that it is real. The most direct path for you is meditation. To achieve this, one must reach a certain level of depth, which requires deep breathing and reaching a point where one can hear their heartbeat. One must remain at this level for a certain amount of time, which varies from person to person. In this case, to gain a better understanding of all of this, it is advisable to contact your spiritual teacher who will instruct you. The process will be different for each individual, but the general outlines are almost always similar. It is necessary to connect the 6 energy centers that comprise the higher level of the mind. This activates the energy center located in the frontal lobe, the upper part. To visualize this, there are 3 energy centers, one behind the other in each hemisphere. These 3 centers in each hemisphere must be activated. When they are activated and sending energy from one to another, the frontal center will begin to activate. When it is active, the perception of these new dimensions is achieved. However, there are places very close to Earth in the lower astral plane where spaces exist that are used by certain spiritual teachers. As call centers from the recently deceased, there is a short way, or sometimes not too short, and a little learning about how to act and relate in this new world. They are centers, bustling, bright, and filled with many deceased beings adjusting to this new reality. To enter these realms, one must desire it, for one knows intuitively that these are good places, beneficial for the new path one must undertake. Many are scattered across your planet, with a higher astral dimension, like islands amidst the vast darkness of the lower astral plane. To see them, you must activate the 6 energy centers and the frontal lobe center by drawing it upward. Once you have spoken with your spiritual master, they will guide you on how to reach these places. This will be done with the astral body performing astral travel. You will learn to consciously undertake astral journeys. This first introduction is sufficient. The meditation process is lengthy. In later lessons, I will explain what is necessary to reach these levels. Each level must be completed before moving to the next. Be patient. Until next time, brothers and sisters.